With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. From the launch your online shop stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. No matter what stage you're in, Shopify's there to help you grow. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/special offer, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/special offer.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Welcome back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 428 of Rams Up. I hope you caught the last two episodes on the pod and the YouTube channel. Roundtables with Paul, Ian, and Tom, running through the depth charts on offense and defense, trying to figure out how that's going to impact the draft, where the holes are on this roster, what are the Rams going to emphasize, what are Sean McVay and Les Snead thinking? Man, really hard to figure out. Now, we may have another mock draft over the weekend, but next week we'll have at least one roundtable mock draft, all four of us chiming in, making the picks for the Rams, solidifying this roster, how we think this draft should go, could go. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to check that out on the pod and the YouTube channel. We'll do at least one of those, possibly two, see how it goes. And then, of course, Thursday night, the fun begins. It's going to be crazy. I have a feeling this is going to be a wild ride. Rams are going to have a surprise or two in store for us. Before we get started on this episode 428, by the way, let's talk about a player who wore number 28, and I'm going sideways on you once again. It's not who you think. In 1941, the Rams had a wide receiver named Howard Wayne Hickey. Now, he changed uniforms later on, ended up wearing number 53, but in 1941, he did indeed wear number 28. Out of Arkansas, played at the University of Arkansas, had a nice career, 75 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and 16 TDs. Now, he caught my eye because, his name was Howard Wayne Hickey, but he went by Red Hickey. Yeah, that's right, Red Hickey. Drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles in the 6th round of the 1941 draft, and his rights were transferred to the Steelers due to events that were later referred to as the Pennsylvania Polka. Now, this is verbatim from Wikipedia. Now, I'm not going to try to explain the Pennsylvania Polka, but it had something to do with rights to a franchise being swapped and then the teams trying to decide which players go where, and they did a little 2-team draft, and that was the Pennsylvania Polka. I'm going to leave it at that. And Hickey ends up with the Steelers and eventually the Rams. Hickey, by the way, like many other players, missed 3 years while serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II, and then eventually played on the 1945 Rams championship team, and then came to Los Angeles, so the Rams played with them from 1946 to 48. Howard Wayne Red Hickey, our number 28, and we'll get to a more significant number 28, maybe episode 528. We'll do that. And I got to throw one more draft trivia question at you. Running out of time. Got to squeeze a few more in. I was so excited when the Rams picked this fullback / running back, the rolling ball of butcher knives out of Virginia Tech in the 2017 draft. That was the year I went to watch them train in Irvine, and this player was the first one on the field that day. Sadly, it didn't work out. Don't think he even made it to the practice squad. I could be wrong there. Did not appear in an NFL game. Who was the rolling ball of butcher knives drafted by the Rams in 2017 out of Virginia Tech? Answer at the end of the episode. Now, as for the NFL draft, getting down to the nitty-gritty here, and for everyone's awareness, last year the number 19 pick was made at 7:21 p.m. Pacific time, so plan accordingly. Going to do a mock draft roundup here. Will Brinson, CBS Sports. His draft, Latu was gone, so he went with Byron Murphy. Arjun Menon of Pro Football Focus, same deal. No Latu, picked Murphy. Not sure if he would have picked Latu if he was there. And Brad Spielberger, also of Pro Football Focus, same deal. Byron Murphy was the pick. Rob Maddie of AP News. Latu, Verse, and Murphy were all gone, so he selected Jerzon Johnny Newton. Not sure if he was settling there. I feel like you can get some really good defensive tackles in the second round. How big of a drop-off is it from Murphy to Newton? We've discussed that already. Not much, in my opinion. And the ringer, Verse and Murphy are gone, but Latu is there, and that was the selection. Peter Schrager of NFL.com, I'm going to quote him here. I'll go on record with something of a guarantee here. If the Rams do not trade back, you better believe Sean McVay's first round selection will be an offensive player. Schrager points out the Rams shored up the interior offensive line, implying there's some work to do on the outside, and his selection was Tyler Goyton. Not feeling that, and Schrager, I really like him actually. He's always been a little bit of a Rams booster. He got a big shout out for predicting before the 2023 season that the Chiefs would beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl, really going out on a limb there. Pretty much went chalk, and everybody was celebrating that. But I like Schrager. Don't agree with this pick. Not going to be Goyton at 19. Not feeling it at all.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Why take one vacation with the family when you could take all of them? With Royal Caribbean, you don't just go to the beach. You visit a private island and race down the tallest water slide in North America. You don't just go for a road trip. You ATV and zip line through the jungle. You don't just go somewhere new. You rappel down waterfalls and discover ancient temples. Because this isn't just any vacation. This is all the vacations. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
my special assistant who knows everything but prefers to remain anonymous, he's really liking these top receivers and thinks the Rams should do everything and anything to move up and grab one. And he pointed out that the Chicago Bears only have 4 picks. The Rams could send that number 19 pick and number 52 and number 99 for the Bears' number 9 pick and select Rome Odunze. Not sure how I feel about that. You know, if that came to pass, I'd probably be pretty juiced about having Odunze on board, but Dan, man, back to worrying about this defense. We would still have the 83rd pick, have to use that on a defensive tackle probably. Hey, maybe we'd be okay. If you could add Michael Hall, for example, along with Odunze on the offense, that'd be something to be excited about. And Fans First Sports Network, the network Rams Up belongs to, they ran a first-round mock draft. Murphy was gone, as was Verse, and I made the selection for our Los Angeles Rams, and I selected Latu. Now back to my special assistant's idea, trading up for one of those wide receivers. What would that actually look like? I went ahead and ran a mock draft exercising this trade with the Chicago Bears, and this is what I came away with. Actually not too bad. Now that number 9 pick, either Neighbors or Odunze is going to be there, not both of them. So if the Rams prefer Odunze, and I suspect they would because he is the ideal receiver for this offense, Rams might not pull that trigger until the number 9 pick is on the clock. Or maybe they'd be okay with Neighbors. But let's say you get Odunze at number 9. At number 83, a defensive tackle from Clemson we have been mocking a bunch of times to the Rams, Rook Ohorhoro, was available. So we addressed the defensive line, add a body there. With the 154th pick, I selected Tyke Smith, the safety out of Georgia. Now I contemplated trying to move back up a little bit. Couldn't find the right trade though, so I just rolled with the rest of these picks that the Rams already had. Back to back, 154 and 155. After Tyke Smith, I selected Bo Limmer, the interior offensive lineman out of Arkansas. Full disclosure here, I know little about him. Just trying to give you an idea what type of player we can get if we use this approach. And then at 196, I took another defensive lineman, Justin Ebugbe, out of Alabama. And I know another name I'm butchering. Sometimes I just assume the Rams pass on these guys. I don't have to pronounce it continuously on podcast after podcast, but there you have it. Justin, the defensive lineman out of Alabama. With the 209th pick, Brennan Jackson, the edge rusher out of Washington State, was still there. And the 213th pick, the running back Dylan Johnson out of Washington. At 217, I got the tight end Brevin Spanford out of Minnesota, a blocking machine. Paul Wally has talked extensively about him. We talked about on the roundtable where the Rams could be hurting at tight end. Can't assume Higbee or Long are going to be back real soon. And then with the Rams' last pick, I selected the cornerback M.J. Davenport out of Pittsburgh. And this is a guy, I don't understand why he's not rated higher. Watch the film on this guy. He's pretty impressive. So check out this draft. We added a dynamic wide receiver, a future star in Rome Odunze, and that could end up being Malik Neighbors. I prefer Odunze though. We added 2 bodies to the defensive line. They may not be superstars, but they are very promising as rotational guys. We added a safety and a cornerback. We added some depth at interior offensive line, and I'm thinking McClendon and Noteboom are serviceable backup tackles, and they can back up on the interior as well. And Limmer comes in to add some additional depth. And the edge rusher, Brennan Jackson, he's got a high ceiling. And then there's running back Dylan Johnson, who, if it weren't for that injury at the end of last year, probably would have gone a lot higher. So I actually like this draft. Did not add a dynamic edge rusher, but maybe we solidified the interior of that defensive line enough to give our edge rushers a chance. And we have a lot of them. We have a lot of guys that have some promise. That would be the one disappointing thing coming out of this. We didn't get a Latu or a Jared Verse or even a Chop Robinson, but we added a great wide receiver and added to each group on the defense except linebacker, but I'm okay with that. Adding a linebacker would just be icing on the cake. We'll be okay there. Kind of like this draft. 2 final notes to close with. I watched the Matthew Stafford Locked In special, and man, I think Stafford's pumped for 2024, and I think I'm pumped too. That was a really good show. And a little pet peeve, personal note to Dan Patrick. I don't do the morning drive very often, but the last thing I want to hear on a sports talk show is someone's estate planning 2 days in a row. That's all I'm going to say about that. And the answer to my trivia question, the rolling ball of butcher knives, the running back out of Virginia Tech, drafted by the Rams in 2017, Sam Rogers. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.